SpaceX's 31st resupply mission to the ISS is going to be full of experiments. A lot of this stuff isn't just interesting on the surface, but it's also going to help shape the future of space exploration. And I'll go through a few of those examples in this video. So I'm sure you've heard of solar wind. It's streams of highly charged particles that come from the sun. But the thing is, this wind is hotter than the sun's surface, and it moves at almost 1,000,000 miles per hour, which is pretty crazy. But the thing is, scientists don't fully understand how or why it gets so hot as it moves away from the sun. To look further into this, the CODEX experiment will be performed. They'll use a special instrument called a coronagraph to measure the speed and temperature of electrons in the solar wind. The goal is to help us better understand this mysterious wind and even help predict space weather. Plus, solar wind can affect things here on Earth like satellite communications and power grids, so the more we know, the more prepared we can be. Moving on, the next experiment is regarding something that you don't expect to see in space: Antarctic moss. The Artemis experiment will send a moss species called Ceratodon purpureus into space. This little plant has some pretty impressive superpowers. It can tolerate a lot of radiation, especially in the harsh environment of Antarctica. And so scientists want to see just how well it can handle both cosmic radiation and microgravity. If we can understand how plants like this can survive in space, we might be able to use them for bioregenerative life support systems in future missions. Or in short, they could help us create a reliable way to grow food and produce oxygen on long space journeys. Next up is to further investigate a process called cold welding. In the vacuum of space, metals can fuse together with much less effort than here on Earth. Keep in mind, spacecrafts come in contact with tiny pieces of debris much more often than you would think, and it's not ideal to always send astronauts outside on spacewalks to manually repair these damages. So the better we understand and experiment with cold welding, the quicker and more efficient repairs can be. And lastly, there's an experiment called the Euromaterial Aging Study that's going to look at how different materials handle the extreme conditions in space. These materials will be exposed to ultraviolet radiation, which is way harsher than anything we experience on Earth. And the goal here is to find strong materials that don't degrade as easily, and hopefully we can use it to build better spacecrafts in the future. So to wrap this all up, we've got some pretty amazing research heading to the ISS. From unlocking the mysteries of solar winds, to figuring out how to grow plants in space, and even learning how to repair spacecrafts. Each of these experiments could play a huge role in the future of space exploration, and who knows, this might even change things here on Earth too. As always, like and subscribe for more updates.